Hi, my name's Amy Miller. I'm a clinical social worker and the owner of Miller Counseling and Consulting in St. Louis. And one thing that I always talk about is communication. So if you've done any work with me or you know me in real life in some capacity, you know that like my big thing is communication, right? Like I feel like if we can all learn to use our words and communicate effectively, we will have less conflict. We will be happier. We will be more authentic. We will use less energy unnecessarily. And that's really my objective in all the work that I do. So, all of my group classes, all of my couple sessions, all my individual sessions, any design of a program that I might come up with, all of it centers around the idea that when we are most authentic and when we are communicating the most clearly, that we are the most productive and the most energized, etc. So, for example, the Myers-Briggs personality type inventory, really the main gist of it, like it doesn't lump people into boxes. It doesn't limit them. It doesn't restrict them. It doesn't take the need to get to know people out of the equation. It really just gives us a blueprint for how we can work together or get along or communicate more effectively. It helps us to bypass things that are not effective, and it helps us to accelerate the things that are. So if you are working with someone who you have a lot of conflict with, it might be helpful for you to find out what their preferred best fit Myers-Briggs type is, because they might just be a lot different than you, or they might be using the same functions as you, and that might be bumping up against each other. Like they might be too much like you. They might be like you, but present in a different kind of way because of their life circumstances. But maybe you could find the common ground, and you could be like, oh, you're like this too. Well, because I know this about you, does this work for you? Because this works for me, etc. It's super practical. And so when people are like, this is dumb, it doesn't help, I don't want to be typed, I don't want to be put in a box, people are too dynamic for this, I'd rather use the colors or whatever that one is, or the strengths finders or disc, that's fine. Like those are all systems as well. This just happens to be the system that makes the most sense for me, given what my objectives are. So my objective is to help people communicate better and to get along and have less conflict. And when they do have conflict, to resolve it more easily. And so the Myers-Briggs system is what works for me and makes sense to me to help my clients do that. So all that is to say, if you want to know more about it, I'm happy to talk to you about it. I realize that I haven't always done a good job of being inclusive of people who don't have background in this. I think I often assume erroneously that everybody knows what I'm talking about, and a lot of people just haven't had exposure to this. But essentially, it's just a way of organizing ourselves into predictable patterns of behavior, which, as annoying as that might be to people who really want to be individuals, people are pretty predictable, and people have pretty typical ways of behaving. And so if we can get shortcuts and blueprints and other tools to help ourselves and help each other, we will find ourselves communicating more effectively, which is my whole goal in life, is to help you and help me and help all of us to communicate better. All that being said, have a great day, and email me at amy@millercounseling.org if you have any questions. Thanks.